we ask that as we begin this session, what is the night to be like? And there'll be mainly 3 parts to it. First part will be to understand what is your role in conveying forgiveness and asking forgiveness in your home, as well as providing for your children ways of seeing how Jesus did it when he walked the earth and what he asks of us. Part 2 will be our catechists and teachers who will share what their perspective is in having your children in their classroom, the materials they use, and the way they engage with the children preparing for both sacraments. But tonight we focus mainly on the preparation for reconciliation. But we always keep in mind, we know we're going beyond that to the reception of First Communion in the spring. The third part, Father Chris, our new pastor, our new administrator, will be sharing some insight in the meaning of the sacrament for himself, which may help you to reflect on what has it been in your life until now, and what new way may you want to enter into this sacrament now as a parent. So let us begin with a reflection of our year and how it starts.
Hello, my name is Megan Gubin, and I am the 2nd grade teacher here at Saint Anselm. This is a reflection prayer titled Beginning. A new beginning stands on my doorstep, ready to enter my life's journey. Something in me welcomes this visitor, the hope of bountiful blessings, the joy of a new beginning, the freshness of unclaimed surprises. Something in me rebuffs this visitor, the swiftness of the coming, the boldness of the entrance, the challenge of a year's goodbye. Something in me fears this visitor, the unnamed events of future days, the wisdom needed to walk love well, the demands of giving away and growing. A new beginning stands on my doorstep. With fragile caution, I move to open the door for its entrance. My heart leaps with surprise. Joy jumps in my eyes. For there beside this brand new beginning stands my God with outstretched hand. He smiles and gently asks of me, can we walk this journey together? And I, so overwhelmed with goodness, can barely whisper my reply, welcome in.
That reflection, I believe, leads us to where we are now. And in so many ways, have we not experienced new beginnings? The past year and a half, we have experienced the pandemic in ways that has come to our doors and has certainly awakened both our anxiety and our fears. But it also has made many of us more aware of our dependence on God and the awareness that God is near us. That we have certainly survived all those days with all its ups and downs because we have recognized we are not alone. Not only do we have the people who surround us from our family and our friends in our faith community, but we know that God slips in among them. And so this reflection shows us at many different times of this year, times in which we were overwhelmed and the thought of beginning anything was exhausting. And yet, as we grew to the next steps we had to take, we recognized that we were able to take those steps and learn from them. And in learning from them, we lightened our load and we relied on our God to share in that load with us. And we readily looked again with hope to the future. And with your children now getting ready for the sacrament of reconciliation and preparation for Eucharist, this year can be another journey into your hope and your faith and love with God as your companion, and for your child, a deeper relationship of God within your family and within the Eucharist itself. And so we hope tonight is a beginning for you to reflect on what does this year bring for you as parents? What does it bring to you as a family? What does it bring for all of us as community? And to allow God to reveal that through your child and through the moments of your life. May you find this to be a holy year for all of you. Now, let's just get right into it. How do you as parents help your child to understand the connection of the sacrament of reconciliation and what is happening in your day-to-day life in connection to God Himself? And I think one big piece of forgiveness, and we certainly know our world needs people who can forgive and who can ask forgiveness, because that is the way our world will find its peace. So how do parents help? First of all, in the home, it's important to help your child understand what "I'm sorry" means. That parents need to help children to an experience that an apology situation by letting them witness it in your relationship from parent to parent, in your actions towards your spouse and towards each member of your family. And parents should not hesitate to apologize to their children when the occasion arises. This is important for the child to internalize what it means to be a forgiving person and to follow Jesus. Now, what "I'm sorry" is not, is first of all, it is not a magic formula that can get us out of trouble by simply saying it. And you may have heard your child say it when they've done something and they're hesitant to say "I'm sorry," and you say, "Well," and they'll go, "I'm sorry." It's so quick, but does it have the meaning? It is also not a way of showing others that you have polite children. When you say you're sorry to your grandmother for not being kind in the way you've been acting today. And it is not an automatic response to a stimulus that is brought about as quick as often our "thank you" is and "excuse me." Those things happen spontaneously, almost without thought. We want our children and ourselves that when we say "I'm sorry," to say it from our hearts and to really seek the forgiveness of the other person, recognizing what we have done has hurt someone. Doesn't this sound like something our world could all learn and be better at? But what is the next step in helping them to understand what it means to be truly sorry? First of all, it is helping them to understand it's a way of changing their behavior. Whether it means they're not going to pout or they're not going to in any way harm their brother or sister or break things because of their anger. But it's to help them see when they say "I'm sorry," it means I'm going to try to change. The second thing that you want them to learn is that when they do something that is harmful or hurtful, and they are going to try to change their behavior, they're going to think about a way that they can make the wrong right. Is it being willing to buy something for someone that they had broken, a favorite toy? Was it that what they said made the brother or sister feel alone and abandoned by them? What can they do that shows they really care about the other person? And then the third thing we want them to learn is how to make a promise or a resolution to try not to do that or repeat that wrong. Oh, yes, they may do it, but they are now trying to make sure that does not happen as often as it has in the past, because now they know that it hurts someone, and that is not what Jesus is calling us to. Jesus wants us to support and encourage those around us in doing the right thing. So as we all know, you as parents, you are the primary educators of your children. And one of the responsibilities is to initiate your child into the sacramental life of the church. And because your children are receiving the sacraments this year and have been in religious education program or Catholic school session environment, it shows you have initiated. You have chosen that as a value. That's what you want for your child, to enter into the sacramental life, which means the life connected to Jesus and God, and to help him in a world that sometimes looks dark and dingy and frightening. But because of the Spirit of God, they can be courageous and make the difference in the life of each other, as you do. Another responsibility is that you receive the sacrament of reconciliation with them, not only at our first reconciliation, but to periodically come to church and receive the sacrament. It is a sacrament that can help to bring peace to yourself, which in turn will bring peace to your family and to those you live with and work with. And then another piece you could do is to take time to talk about reconciliation with your children, along with reading Bible stories that tell of the forgiveness of Jesus or the way God has forgiven his people in the stories from the Old Testament. And don't forget, take time to pray with them. This year could be a very special year in understanding your child better and allowing them to vocalize what they are learning when they're in school and what it means for them to be following Jesus and accepting these new sacraments. So, as I said, one way we learn about Jesus and forgiveness is to listen to the stories of the Bible. When you bring your children to Mass and they hear Father or one of the readers reading the scriptures, those stories in time heard over and over again becomes part of them, so that they too can tell their story. And maybe you sometimes hear your older children explaining a story to your younger children about what is the message of the gospel, or what was really happening in that story when Jesus walked with the disciples after he had risen. So, there are a few stories that you are familiar with, and I will send you a little paper with them that you could take time to read, and you may even find a children's book just about that story. Or if you have a children's Bible, the story that you are going to read might make more sense if they see it with pictures and you read it slowly in their language. And these stories are the lost sheep, the prodigal son. How many of these do you know from just listening in church or reading along throughout your life? The paralyzed man, the woman at the house of the Pharisees, the woman at the well, and there are others. These are people who had encounters with Jesus and in some way changed. They were touched by his words and their lives became new. Again, they welcomed the unexpected, as our reflection told us. So I would recommend maybe you do want to get a children's Bible for your children for their birthday or at Christmas, just something that you can share with them throughout the year. And in the years to come, they can refer back and hold on to those memories of you and the Jesus stories. Now, what family experiences help children to prepare for reconciliation in everyday life? It's experiences of being forgiven, experiences of forgiving, experiences of sharing, of cooperating, of making friends, making decisions, being loved and loving. And parents, you are the best to know and to determine what you see in your child's life day to day that distinguishes, do they know the difference between good and evil? Because some children may think that breaking a stack of dishes is worse than breaking one dish in anger. And so that calls for a conversation. And if you converse with your children, you will see that there are areas in their thinking that you need to redirect. And you are the best to know, does a child understand forgiveness, being sorry, and trying to do better? That's what you witness at home, and we may see it in school or in just a short contact with them. So think about those things. I will send you the list of some of these stories, and I encourage you to enter into the experience and welcome it, just like the reflection tells us. And in welcoming it, we'll find God is there for us. And now we'll listen about how does this happen in the classroom? What is the perspective by these catechists and teacher? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Pona. I'm the second grade PSR teacher here at St. Anselm's. My role tonight is to explain our curriculum for First Reconciliation. So to begin, we use the Blessed book and movie series, which is by Matthew Kelly. It's a great way to teach important parts of First Reconciliation and First Communion to the students. So what we'll do is we take a chapter at a time in each PSR class. We start by an opening prayer, which is in their Blessed Reconciliation book. And after the prayer, there's a bunch of supplemental videos that help the students understand what the lesson is about. So in the videos, we follow a cute little family, a brother and a sister, Ben and Sarah, and their animal, Hemingway, and then a bunch of their friends. And it applies to the students because it's things that they can relate to, which is a lot easier than other books and textbooks I've used in the past. So with each lesson, there's an activity that I try and use to go with it. So last week, or 2 weeks ago, the lesson focused on prayer. So we made a prayer box to help the students know how to pray. This week, it was about God inviting us into his life and Jesus inviting us into the church. So we had a party in our PSR class, which helped connect the topic that we're learning about. So it's really an amazing way for the students to connect with the topic, especially when it's something that they can relate to. And then coming home as a supplemental for you parents to connect to what we're learning about is this purple folder. And in the purple folder includes different booklets that have a lesson that we've been teaching about or maybe have already taught. And in the lesson, there's a couple stories, there's a couple discussion questions. And then what I like most about it is that it has stickers for the students to put as they follow along. So it keeps them engaged. I know sometimes they can get maybe bored with us reading to them, but having them follow along with the discussion questions and the stickers, I've noticed helped, especially as I used this curriculum last year when we were doing remote PSR. So that's a great way for you guys to connect with the content at PSR, at home. It's for you to see what we're learning about. So each lesson follows the lesson that was taught in PSR for that week. I'm excited to see the students grow in my PSR class as they approach First Reconciliation and then First Communion in the future. And I hope they continue to be just as engaged in the Blessed series as they are right now. Thanks.
Hello again. Again, my name is Megan Gubin, and I am the second grade teacher here at Saint Anselm. So to prepare the students to receive the Sacrament of Reconciliation in November, I am teaching the students using a variety of different techniques. The Christ Our Life textbook is our main tool for our daily religion class, and it has several chapters dedicated to reconciliation. We will cover the topics of forgiveness, absolution, penance, and the process of how to examine our conscience over the next several weeks. Another strategy I use is also playing the blessed videos. As Elizabeth stated in these videos, we follow a boy named Ben and a girl named Sarah, along with their gerbil named Hemingway, as we are reminded that we are blessed to be a part of God's family. In these videos, we watch different Bible stories, pray, and learn the steps of reconciliation and why forgiveness is essential. These videos open up great class discussions too. The third practice I will be implementing in the near future will be using these booklets specifically dedicated to teach reconciliation. These booklets are called Together in Jesus First Reconciliation. As I teach each booklet during class, I will send the booklet home with the student in their green folder. I encourage you to talk with your student about what was discussed during class. I will put in my weekly newsletter the main topics addressed for you to help initiate this important conversation. With knowing that every student learns different, some students like videos, others like discussions, and some students like to read, I want to ensure every student understands these important topics. Therefore, with every strategy, that is, with using the textbook, blessed videos, or the booklets, I engage everyone with a class discussion on the topic every day. If you have any questions, please email me. Thank you.
Well, I guess you can see the enthusiasm we have and the energy in our catechist and teacher, and that they both have found a way to best teach your child with the time they have and with their own talents and their own way of understanding children. And their openness, I know, connects with the children. They are very happy being with them. And that is also a plus to welcoming the sacrament in their lives, welcoming Jesus. So I hope that this has enlivened your own understanding and faith. What is your role in all of this? And before I go on to the third part in which Father will speak, I would like to just talk about, I will be sending home the list of the activities around reconciliation. So we know that this meeting is here is our first, the opening meeting. We haven't talked a lot about Eucharist, but know that we will be meeting in January. That date will be settled and sent to you. And that is the beginning of focusing on the preparation to the Eucharist. Through their learning in the classroom, it'll lead us up to the reconciliation services. One service will be on November 15th on a Monday, and that will be for Saint Anselm School, as well as children from NDES. And our second reconciliation service will be the following Monday on November 22nd at 7. Both will be at 7 o'clock in church, and that will be for the PSR children here at St. Anselm. There is some flexibility. If you find that you cannot make one or the other, please let us know ahead of time so that we can be aware of adjusting materials and to the 2 evenings. I do understand sometimes it is coming close to Thanksgiving and some people have family schedules, but again, just call ahead of time that we can adapt to your need, as well as making it a very wonderful communal experience. That's about it for reconciliation. But I also want to say that I want to thank all of you that have sent in your registrations for First Communion preparation, and those who have not, to try to get them in as soon as possible. That does help us with information that we eventually add to our parish records. We do need a copy of the baptismal certificate of your child, unless they were baptized here at St. Anselm. If you don't have a copy, just bring the original. We'll make the copy either in school or in the parish office and return your original for you to keep. And we really appreciate the many ways that you have supported your child up to now and the wonders you have done within your home. Because we see the children, they're very sweet this age. Oh yes, they can get cantankerous like all of us. But there's something special about this year, and it will show in their questions and their thoughts. So listen carefully so that you can enjoy them, and also share with them your own faith in the sacrament. Now, this last part is going to be Father Chris Cox, our new administrator, who some of you have not met. Maybe you've seen him and maybe you have not. But he could not be here tonight because he has parish council and cannot be in 2 places at once, but he found a way of doing it. What he has done is his presentation has been videoed and is now, during this past time that we've been together, there has been sent to your email the link that once you tap into it, automatically Father will introduce himself and share some of his own insights and appreciation of the sacrament that may help you to recall your earlier time of receiving and reflecting on, is this a new beginning, to become a little more serious and a little more conscientious in sharing this journey of reconciliation with all of us and with your children. So again, if you go to your email and it's not there, check for spam or junk, because they may not recognize it, but they have been sent and has been tested by a couple of people. So we hope that this will give you an opportunity to learn a little bit more about reconciliation in a very spiritual light, but also to come to know Father in some new way. And hopefully you will meet and talk to him face to face when you can. So we appreciate you taking time to watch this live stream. We've been very happy to be here and to share this part of the journey that we have with your children, and we are grateful to you that you continue to entrust them to us. And so we'll just close with a very short prayer, and then you can go on to Father's Talk. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Lord Jesus Christ, you told us of your Father's love and mercy by becoming one of us and dying for us so sin could be forgiven. You come to us in the sacrament of reconciliation to give us forgiveness and to welcome us home. We are your people. We came here this evening to learn and to talk about this wonderful sacrament. We value this time and ask you to be with us and to help us to continue to prepare our children well to meet you for the first time in this special sacrament. We ask all this in your name. Amen. And so, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, good night to everyone. And don't forget to check out Father's Talk. Thank you.